My name is Samuel J. Meisels. I'm the founding executive director of the Buffett Early Childhood Institute at the University of Nebraska. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Public Law 99457. And I want to start by recalling an incident early in my teaching career. This is some years before 99457 was passed, actually as early as 1970. I was a new kindergarten teacher at that time and a graduate student at Harvard. And I was setting up my classroom in the fall for my first kindergarten class when a mom came into my classroom. And she said to me, she introduced herself, and I was polite to her and looking forward to meeting her little boy. She told me she had a boy. And she said, well, I need to know whether he can come to school tomorrow. And I asked her why she was asking. Was there something wrong? And she said, well, he doesn't have any lower limbs. And I asked the principal, and she said, it's up to you, up to me. So I said, well, of course, how does he get around? She says he gets around on his knees. And sometimes he wears prosthetics, but he does very, very well. Would you like to meet him? He was outside, and she brought him in, and it was terrific. And this little boy did beautifully in the classroom and with his peers, and it was wonderful. But the point is, if I had said, no, I'm the classroom teacher, I don't want him, he wouldn't have been able to go to school. He would not have been entitled to a free and public education. That's no longer true, thankfully, in this country. It hasn't been true since 1975, when Public Law 94142 was passed, the Education for All Handicapped Children Act. But it took another 10, 11 years for the provisions of 94142 to be made available for children younger than age 5. They were somewhat available for age 3, but wasn't really clear, and hardly at all available for birth to 3-year-olds. Beginning in 1986 with the passage of 99457, these children from the beginning of life who met certain eligibility requirements, and even those in some states who were at risk, those children were entitled as well to a free and public education. And much has taken place since that time. Shortly after, only a few years after the law was passed, my colleague and friend Jack Shonkoff and I published the first of two, over a decade of time, 2 handbooks of early childhood intervention. And in that, we started to bring forward the science that's behind this. And this became a very, very important thing for everyone in the field to begin to understand, to grasp, and to translate. How can the science of early development be used not only for children who are developing normatively, but those who are developing with disabilities? We also emphasized in those handbooks, and the field has certainly shown this, 2 other major areas of consideration besides science. The second one is the ecological framework in which the child is growing, in which the child is being raised. And one of the critical parts, of course, of the ecological framework is the child and his family. Prior to the passage of these laws, these milestone laws, families were kept out of the classrooms. It was all about what we were going to do to the child. And now we began to see the child in relationship to the family, to the community, to the society, to the larger policy world. A third element besides science and the ecological framework is interdisciplinarity. Not a pretty word, but a pretty thought, an important thought. A thought about how it's not just up to one specialty or one profession to make a change in children's lives. If we're going to do that, we are going to do that by working, by essentially, intellectually, cognitively, as it were, conceptually, surrounding the child with people with a variety of different skills, different experiences, different background, and helping them to work together on behalf of the child and the family, the community, and the society. So these 3 areas of science, of ecological framework, and interdisciplinary activity were critical. They were built into the law, and to this day they remain critically important for the future of the provisions of this law and for the children who profit from it most. Today, we no longer have to worry about whether a child may or may not be admitted to a public education program. But we still have to work hard to be sure that we are doing the best job we can on behalf of these kids and their families. And we've made tremendous progress over these 30 years or even longer, and I know there will be more progress ahead.